Welcome into Capper's Cave. I'm your host, Lorenzo de Costa. This is our Best Bets show. It is Friday. TGI mother effing F. And we are going streaking. We have been going streaking. Not undefeated, but very profitable. 69% last week. Listen in, guys, gals, cavemen, cave women. Listen up. Got a good show. What do we got? We're going to start with the picks. We'll talk about a little stuff first. We want to talk about, kind of the human aspect of football and sports as well, because we use this angle quite a bit. I mean, there's always trends, analytics. Those are always part of it from every year. But every year there's a new team out on that field or court or what have you, with different talents, different... but those trends do work, and analytics do work. We to drive numbers, and we love it. There's profitable angles, depending on which way you look, but we always like to look, and we'll have some of those games this week at the human aspect, because there are people out there with emotions, with different talents, some not as good as the other. And this kind of goes under what you might call the gut feeling. Because we do have the guts and the nuts here. But no, on a serious level, it is. You can call it a gut, but it's more or less the human aspect of betting on these games. You may judge it by just one man's talents. Like you can with the Ohio State game, which might be a pick. That Chase Young, he can change a whole damn football team. But then you can look at some trends from the past, and you say Penn State, kept close here and there. Yeah, it's good to look at every angle, but sometimes you can go off of just that in itself. Always look at that angle, the human aspect. These are different players, different team. They're not just numbers out there running around. These are people that we are betting on to outperform one or the other. It's always good reminder. Okay, and speaking of humans and emotions, and that's what Garrett now is bringing into this whole situation. Pulling the race card. That's bold. That's tough. You know why? I think it's bullshit. I think it makes him look even worse. Makes him look like the racist to even bring that up. I mean, I like to think most people are not these days. And you know what? You'd be really fucking stupid as Rudolph or any white guy playing football to say any of those derogatory words when you're surrounded by several big dudes of another race. It's about the dumbest thing on earth. About the dumbest fucking thing on earth. Are you an idiot? No. It's a media stunt. You know why? Because the media loves this. The media wants us all to be racist. They love it. They try to mold your minds. That's what they do. You got to quit listening to it. Oh, is that what we're doing here? But we're talking about football picks. But we're still talking about this, So it is out there, and it's going to play into maybe one of our bets, coming up with the Pittsburgh game and even the Browns game. These human aspect of it can really form your mind, because your mind is what makes your muscles move. And if you can motivate that aspect of it, you can play into that a little bit. Yeah, of course. But again, just bullshit. I don't want to dig too much into the whole race thing, but it's really just stupid. I mean, it still continues out there today. I'm sure it does, and that's sad. I always like to look at things from a big perspective, like the sun looking down on the earth, or or even how the gods may appear us, if there is one that exists like the traditional sorts. Would they be laughing? And kind of hysterical laugh? Like these, or maybe pissed? Like what do we do? Are these guys really complaining about the pigment of their skin? Are they what? Are you for real? Because we all came from one person at one point, did we not? Or maybe two organisms. I don't know. There's evolution. There's this. There's that. I think it's pretty simple to say that we probably did. So it's really kind of stupid to be judging on that matter. But enough of that. What else in the news? A lot of cupcakes in the SEC. I don't know why the SEC does this every year towards the end of the season. And, well, it's probably a good idea, like, to get a little practice in. But, for teams like Bama right now, it might hurt them. They have to kick the shit out of West Carolina, but, we all know that's going to happen. Now they got to play for style points. Clemson does. They got to play style points. And it's so different than the NFL. You don't fucking care about style points and beating the spread. Maybe on a... No, I really don't think there's any level. The spread goes into these, the committees. Although they didn't cover. They're plus 14 on their differential. They probably do. Style points. Watch out for them. Clemson's going to be trying hard, and I don't think they're going to slow down the game. They're on the edge. They got to cover hard. But we don't like to really jump on those games. Especially Bama now without Tua in there. I mean, they should still easily, without even passing the ball, beat the shit out of Western Carolina. I don't see how that's not going to happen. But let's dig in to our picks to one of the best games of the week. Probably going to be one of the most watched games of the week. It's Penn State at Ohio State, sitting at minus 18.5, 57.5 over under. But we are going to wait. Where we give you our pick, we're going to wait on wide receiver Holler, I believe his name is, the best receiver for Penn State. He does kickoff returns, does this and that. He's pretty much their whole offense. And they've been lopsided. Every game, 5 teams have outgained Penn State, but yet Penn State still went on to win. That's just how they play. They got a good defense. It's going to be the toughest defense of the Buckeyes have faced, but they said that about Wisconsin and Michigan State, and we just tore. I say we, sorry. They just tore buttholes in them. Last 3 games between these two, 1 point, 1 point, 3 points. They do keep it close with Buckeyes. Have given them trouble. Speaks volumes to why this is so high, though. 2014 when the Bucks won the championship, the game went into OT. And I do believe this is the year the Buckeyes are going to win the championship, if not get there at least. Are we getting back on that train? I think it was a little lopsided last week. 53 points to cover. We stayed on that train just for the hell of it. But, again, we didn't do the greatest research. 53 points was the highest for any favorite away in, the last 10 years. It was a tough one to cover. But, again, Ohio State, they're leading. They're number one in the YPG differential, number one in the point differential, number one, and they're just killing it in the ATS margins. Number one in every category. They're just completely dominating and getting Chase Young back from suspension. And this Fields guy, it's incredible, 31-1 TD to interception ratio. Should be Heisman frontrunner. I don't think these guys have any problem with Penn State. Penn State's not going to be able to keep up with them, especially with Young out there. He's just such a game changer. That's what we go back to, talking to them talents. He's just he's so much more. And the Buckeyes defense is so talented all around, but then you throw him in the mix, and it is insanely crazy. I don't think Penn State's going to be able to put up but maybe 14, 17 points, especially in the shoe. It's going to be a tough one. We're going to lock it up, but we are going to wait. I don't know if the spread is towards being with that wide receiver being out, so we might be worried and maybe jump on it early. But this could go up. But I think the public might be on Penn State because Penn State generally keeps this close. Public doesn't do much research. They see the last couple games, and then boom, they're on that team. So this could go down. That would be great because we're leaning Buckeyes right now. Next up on the list, ECU at UConn. We were all about this, and I'll still talk about it because we still like to talk about games and give you some points. Minus 14.5, 60 over under 66. Right off the bat, we love ECU merely on the strength of schedule. I mean, they kept it close with SMU, only lost by 8 points. Kept it close with a good Cincinnati team, 43-46. They had to play USF, UCF, Temple. Lost all these games, but they're tough games. And UConn, they're just coming off a 3-48 game against Cincinnati. Comparable game. Let's look at that comparison. Oh, no comparison. Their closest loss was 7 points at Houston. And Houston's not that good this year. Average margin of loss this year, 30.5 points. But should ECU really be getting eating 14 points and a half? They are 3-0 ATS the last 3 versus UConn. But what scares me is the weather this week. It's going to be rainy. It's going to be cold. ECU's going to have to go up there. I mean, this could be maybe even a good under. But this kind of just shuts everything out. I mean, both teams are off a bye. East Carolina clearly looks like an improved team in November. What scares me is the Pirates were combined for 35.5 points in the spread the last 2 games. And now they're laying more than 2 TDs on the road. This could play into UConn. I'm not saying UConn's going to win this game, but this could play into their favor. Rainy and cold, and they like to run the ball. And ECU can toss it up. So we were on it. Now it's going to be a stay away. So, yeah, let's kick that one out. Next up, South Alabama at Georgia State. Another big one. A lot of people are going to be watching this one. Georgia State sitting at -10 at home. At first glance, yes, we want to say Georgia State. But let's dig in. South Alabama, 1-9. Georgia State, 6-4. South Alabama is 5-1 ATS the last 6. It's not bad. But lost, last 2 SU and ATS. Oh, I'm sorry, Georgia State. They lost the last 2 SU and ATS and lost a starting quarterback. Well, they didn't lose him. He tried to play last week, and he did gut it out in a loss to Appalachian State, but clearly he wasn't the same player. Managed only 88 passing yards, -7 rush yards. When he was averaging 66 rush yards per game. But again, South Alabama 1-9 on the season, but they have covered again their last 5 of 6, including Sun Belt and ULL last week, and it's +10 is probably going to keep going up. And Georgia State might be out one of their main receivers. So if this guy tries to go again, which I don't think they will, are they going to really risk it? He had torn ACL. I mean, you can play with a torn ACL, but it's like not having that ligament in there, and your leg can buckle at any point. So he's not going to be running that much. They're not going to need to do much against South Alabama, but they will try to get to 2 wins, I bet. Georgia State probably already going bowling with 6-4. But again, a loss here that might put them at risk. I don't see much motivation here. I like South Alabama keeping it close. So, we're going to lock it up. South Alabama +10 points, but please wait on this game. Might be able to get 10.5, 11. Next up on the list, we have big game. We're going to go with another big game. Texas A&M at Georgia. Not much history since A&M's joined the SEC. They haven't played since 2009. -13.5 to Georgia, 44.5. Odds makers expect a low-scoring game, which to me, that means could be a close game. Jimbo's still a good coach. Give him a few years. I mean, they've taken him 7-3 this year. He's doing the right things. He's taking care of the teams they should have, kicking the shit out of them. The only losses were Alabama, Auburn by 8, Clemson by 14. So they're clearly getting better, but, Jimbo still, I think, is a really good coach. Not that he's better than Kirby Smart, but, he could be. If he had those players and in Georgia, he might be doing better. Clemson, they're 4-0 SU, 3-1 ATS the last 4. Georgia's been playing good, but still feel that there's still more pressure on them, and they've been digressing when they should be, progressing. Georgia, in the last few, Kirby's been pretty conservative. He really seems like he has. And, even with his leads, Alabama twice in the past years, Notre Dame and Auburn this year, he seems to just keep it close. I don't know if that's all him. Maybe it's just the Georgia team as a whole. And Georgia favorite of 10 or more as a home favorite. I think this is coming off a road win. They're 4-9 ATS. So that's Georgia, favorite of 10 or more, home favorite, coming off a road win, 4-9 ATS. In fact, any FBS team playing as 10 or more favorites in the month of November, this is a little stretch, I know, but we find it, we like it, in the month of November, and the total is between 44.5 and 47, which is a big deal to me, like I said earlier. About it, the odds makers thinking that it's going to be a lower game could mean that it's going to be a closer game. But let me dig in more. So, any team playing as 10 or more favorites in the month of November, the total is between 45.5, 47, coming off a win over an SEC team and back-to-back SU wins, 1-10 ATS. I think A&M's bullish right now. I got a good rushing attack. Georgia's missing 2 on the O-line. Possibly leading receiver, if not 100%. I'm all over it. 13.5. Take those points with A&M. Could give them a bigger bowl game to get a win like this. They're not getting in with 3 losses, but we like it. Next up, this was another one. We thought we were going to go with Marshall at Charlotte. Charlotte getting 7 points at home. This is the first time in history they have a chance to get to a bowl bid, but I really think it's going to take more than 6 wins. And Marshall's already going bowling. But the more we looked at this, we're like, yeah, Charlotte, man, they're playing pretty good. Defense has gotten pretty better over the last few weeks, and they can score points, and they're playing at home against the Marshall team. But Marshall's, they're pretty good. They're prior to going bowling at 7-3. And I started to think, well, they had a former coach, the defensive coordinator now for Marshall, used to be their head coach. Oh, maybe you think some sympathy here. Nope, not at all. This guy was fired last year, and he probably shouldn't have been. I mean, it's Charlotte. What are you guys expecting there? But they have turned it around and had a pretty good season with this coach now. So the motivation is going to be there, but I think there's going to be extra motivation for this defensive coach that he's going to put his best game together to beat the shit out of these guys. He knows a lot of the players. He knows the weak spots. And Marshall should be motivated. They may be going bowling, but they have a chance at the conference, too. They're tied with 3 others, Should move up. So the lean was Charlotte. Now we're leaning Marshall, and that's why we say fuck it. Maybe if it goes down, moves a little bit one way or the other, maybe, but I still think it's a tough game. There's too many likes on one side and the other. So, sorry, there's your information just to maybe to at least keep you off the game. But put that into consideration. Next up, Tennessee at Mizzou. We got anything on this? Possibly. This was another tough one. It's just Mizzou's playing so bad. 2 teams relying on their defense right now. Mizzou especially. Last 4, 6 points, 0 points, 7 points, 14 points. Ugly. Now they're playing a revamped Tennessee team. He's 5-0 ATS, 4-1 SU. A couple of bad alt losses earlier in the year. Coach was probably on the line, but he's fighting for his job right now. Beating another SEC team might make him look a little bit better. Mizzou has 4 straight losses. Just not motivated. It may be senior day there. It is. This is their last home game. Is it really going to matter if they get the win here? They might be playing some of their, second-string seniors. But what we like here is the under. 45.5. Last 7, 4-2-1. To the over. But last was under. The last time it was under was around 43.5. Which is right where we like it and right where we want the market to be. This is an ugly game. It's going to be ugly when you watch. Don't even watch it. Don't even fucking watch it. It's going to be ugly. But I do think the defenses are going to be both motivated. And Tennessee's offense hasn't really... They've done better in the last few games, but I think it's been their defense that's kept them in games. And I don't think they're going to have trouble against this Mizzou team. that's been struggling at every position. And their offense was supposed to be high-powered, and they started out the season doing that, but they just haven't shown anything. We like the under. Lock it up. 45.5. Next up on the slate, what do we got? And I do want to say we do have Locksmith coming in, but I don't know if he's going to be our SEC extraordinaire this week. He might not. I don't know. He's going to give us his pick later on in the show. I also just want to take this moment to remind you to follow us at Capper's Cave, at Cave Cappers. I made the mistake in my last couple shows. I don't know why. I thought we had Capper's Cave at Capper's Cave, but it's Capper's Cave at Cave Cappers. Capper's Cave at Cave Cappers, where you can find our nightly glitter on Twitter picks. We like to post at least one pick a night, whether it be NHL, NBA. We like to just put our shiniest, prettiest pick out there for the night for you. And also, if you go to our website at capperscave.com, we usually list some of our picks. Our shows are there as well. We'll list a couple picks there as well. But please listen to the show. It's where we give most of our picks. And up and coming, we'll have an app where you can get everything. Make it easy for you. So next up, are we going to the NFL yet? Oh, no, we got one more, and I talk about this team every week. Oh, you heard it. It's the Liberty Bells. This team, man, they've been winning us some money this year. Their ATS record is a positive one, but we've just found the games that they've won them on, and we've been killing it with them. We love them. Both teams are off a bye. They're playing Virginia, sitting at, what is their spread on this game? Shit, did we even look at it? I think they're getting 17.5 points, yeah. And Liberty sits at 6-4. But we'll probably need to get another win to be bowl eligible. And a win against a team like this, Virginia, yeah. We like Virginia, though. It's scary. We've liked them early on in the year, and they just haven't proven themselves. But they are a good team, and I don't think they're going to want to lose to a team like this. So this one is a little scary. Again, they're both off bye weeks. QB Stephen Calvert, he's been so impressive for this Liberty team. 23-3 TD interception ratio. Hasn't thrown an interception since week 2. This line, it's basically telling us that this could be a flat spot for Virginia with a huge game with Virginia Tech on deck. Remember, BYU was laying 17 to Liberty last week or 2 weeks ago. Cougars didn't cover. But we still think Virginia is a better team. They are better than BYU. And yet we have a similar point spread with our numbers. But I just can't lay off of Liberty. I love them. They're playing so good. And this could be a trap game for... So we're actually going to take them this week. We're going to take a chance. We're going to throw it on them. Every week I talk about it, and we don't lay the money, and we should. Let's do it. Let's get on to... we get on to the NFL already? That's it? Yeah, that's it for our picks. That is it. So we're going to take Liberty plus 17. Like A&M plus a 13.5. East Carolina, we do not like. We like Tennessee under 45.5. Ohio State, not quite yet, but we are leaning them. We're going to wait on that receiver to see what happens. If he's out, even if he's not 100%, that's their whole offense. He can't. Yeah, we're not going to go that route. Yeah, let's move on to the NFL.
Ready, down, hut.
Yeah, Denver at Buffalo. Buffalo -4. Buffalo might be the weakest 7-3 team, and I hate saying this. I'm a Bills fan. That we have in the NFL right now, but give them some credit for blowing out the Dolphins team. That covered 5 straight. This is the best start for them in a while since '99. Broncos haven't scored a fourth quarter TD in 6 straight games. They blew a 20-point lead at halftime to the Vikings. 4 of Denver's losses now have been by a combined 10 points. Considering all the problems the Broncos have on the offensive side of the ball, going into Buffalo, this could turn into a house of horrors really quick for that young quarterback. The Bills have the number 3 ranked defense in the league, top 10 in sack percentage. You can imagine Mr. McDermott It's going to put together a good game to crush Mr. Allen. And this, I think this goes to a story over to the Carolina Panthers and what's happening with them. They're definitely going to digress. They're trending downwards now with this Allen guy at quarterback. It's going to happen. Bills haven't put up many interceptions this week, but I think this could be a good week for it. We are staying away from this. I don't like it at 4. Maybe liked it in the 3s. No value, no bet. Next up, Tampa Bay and Atlanta. First, this screams over. Are we doing that? No, I don't know. Big Tampa Bay, 3-7, traveled to Georgia to battle the 3-7 Falcons. The battle of the bottom feeders in the NFC South. The question is, are the Falcons really bottom feeders right now? Could they go 9-7? Because they certainly look like it now. The odds are that the Falcons are a bit better than their record does indicate, but I think the surge will likely come to an end here pretty soon. I mean, Tampa Bay does have some real playmakers on offense, but this unit, they've been so inconsistent on every which way, every side of the ball. They're unable to string together anything offensively, despite having the best rush defense and worst pass defense. I think Ryan figures to have a big game, definitely outpacing his counterpart. Jameis Winston is the worst QB in the league, despite having the best wide receiver tandem. He's just having trouble. He's fighting for his... He's got a lot of pressure on him. And Mr. Dan Quinn giving up the play calling abilities on defense. Duties, not abilities, but and he certainly looked like a different Falcons defense the last couple of weeks. So that's why we don't really like the over-under. I don't know what to expect here, because sometimes Tampa Bay can have a good defense, and now Atlanta's playing a good defense. And and the linebacker coach is now calling the first and down plays, and they got an assistant coach calling the third down. So they've given up his duties, which, again, I'm going to bring this over to the Browns. This is what you should do, Kitchens. I don't know how many times I got to say this on this show. Give up your play calling duties to somebody else, because you can't fucking do it. That's it right there. You can't do it. This guy finally did, but look, they're 3-7. Okay, they still have a chance maybe the playoffs. They got to win out. Yeah, okay. Now, on the other side of the ball, Tampa has failed to cover ATS in 6 straight games. After their home loss to the Saints last week, Winston threw another 4 interceptions. That's now 18 on the season. The over has cashed in 8 straight games for them, but we do like the Falcons here. A lot of info, but no bet on the over-under with the defense playing better. And can we trust Atlanta, though, yet? -4 shouldn't be a tough number. And you know what? I think we're staying away from this game. We just wanted to give you some info on it. I think we're staying away from it because I can't trust them yet. I don't know how good their play calling abilities. It seems to have worked for the last 2 games. But again, I think Carolina also beat themselves in the last game too as well. They just haven't been playing well. And, they came out and they shocked New Orleans. New Orleans wasn't ready for that. Okay, 2 good games in a row, but this is the NFL. And Tampa is just so fucking inconsistent, I can't trust either side. Next up, what do we got here? Whoa, excuse my chair. Seattle at Philly. Philly -1. This is another team we just can't get on the right side of. Philadelphia. I don't know what to think about you. It is a solid viewing card when the game got moved out of Sunday night window, which kind of scares me. Seahawks are coming off a bye now. Instead of playing at a 5 p.m. Pacific time, they're now playing at a 10 a.m. Pacific time. In the last game, they did manage to beat the 49ers. Might be a little high, despite having 4 turnovers. They won 7 games this year by 7 or less points. Does that make them overrated? Or is Wilson just that clutch? He may be. Can we trust Philly on the other side of things? Seattle has won 3 in a row, including 2 straight in OT. So can we? They keep it close. I know this could be a scary game to bet on. So we can't trust Seattle to keep it close. Yes, we can. They've done a good job. They've done a good job against the 49ers. Now they come in refreshed off a bye. Of course, a small lean towards them because Philly's playing like shit. And that's to put the final nail in the coffin of the Eagles for their playoff hopes. There's a lot of pressure on them. They're going to come out fighting, though. Eagles did look shitty in their 17-10 against the Patriots. And I think the Seattle offense is a lot better than New England's right now. And that's another game we may like later. I think they're desperate. which that could matter this week. Seattle is rested. It needs to keep pace with the Niners, so they are motivated too. And the Niners, after they come from behind wins against the Cardinals last Sunday, so a little less stress on Seattle, maybe a little. And the Hawks, they're 8-4 in their last 12 games as a road dog. Well, the Eagles are a poor 2-6 ATS in their last 8 after a non-conference contest. Phillies, Wentz, he's just looked brutal this season. Not entirely his fault. I just have a hard time seeing the Eagles' offense suddenly just flipping it and resolving all their issues. Seattle, on the other hand, again, has an entire week off to game plan. And I don't think it's, it's obvious to see that they can outright win this game. That's why it's sitting at 1. I would grab the points if I did side with anything. In fact, this is a good teaser one. It's not official on our board, but tease that shit.
Is this turning you on?
Tease it. I mean, you get 8 points with Seattle. They keep every game so close. Love that tease. Even if 6, you put it with another one. Put it with the Bills +3 at home. That seems like a lock. Next up, New York Giants at Chicago. I'm always hesitant with these New York teams. Yeah, that's what this kind of game is. New York Giants, 2-8. SU traveled to the Windy City to battle the Chicago Bears, sitting at 4-6, struggling as well. This battle is the biggest of the biggest underachievers this season. The Giants have a bunch of playmakers on offense. Daniel Jones is serviceable, though the record makes a little sense. But the Giants seem to be able to keep it close. The Bears will continue with Mitchell Trubisky, which has been just a disaster. If he plays, Bears probably win. But covering seems to be tough especially if the Giants roll out Saquon Barkley. How do you lay 6 points with the Bears offense? It's so tough. They've only topped 300 yards one time this season. You don't, as we took advantage of their offense last week, cashing the under in their 17-7 loss to the Rams. On the other side, Giants have lost 6 straight games. But Daniel Jones is quietly number 17 in QBR rating, has a 9-1 TD interception ratio in his last 3 games. They're 9-3 ATS away from home. Scary. But wait on Barkley. If he's in, we're all over the Giants. I think they probably still keep it close even without him, because you just can't trust the Bears right now. But you know what? Trubisky's going to come out 2 weeks ago, last week. I don't know. So many inconsistencies. That's what the NFL is. It is tough. It seems to be tougher than college. Next up on the slate, Carolina at New Orleans, -10. Tough spot for the Panthers off 2 losses. Offense is sputtering. Last 3 or 4 couldn't get past 16 points. Kyle Allen's 4 interceptions in the blowout loss to Atlanta. That's now 3-9 ratio in his last 4 starts, as Allen has dropped to number 30 in the QBR rating. On the other side, Saints got back on track with a comfortable win over the Bucs. Outgained Tampa 195-11 in the last 25 minutes. The line is 10. The Saints, though, are 3-10 ATS as a double-digit home favorite in this division. I think they cancel each other out. I don't know which team you're going to see. From the Panthers, no bet. No bet. No dice. Detroit at Washington. Yeah, another one of those. But they've been profitable. They've been valuable. They may be shitty games to watch, but good games to bet on. No Stafford, no bet. Okay. Although Driscoll was very efficient. He did keep it close with Dallas. Lions have lost 6 of the last 7 games, and certainly Detroit, +7 5-backers, are not happy with the head coach. I don't think they're happy with Patricia. No. Washington's offense just went through a streak where they didn't score a TD in 16 straight quarters. They've played some tougher teams, tougher defenses. They've lost 9 straight home games by an average of 17 points, 2-7 ATS. Still, do you really want to lay more than a field goal on the road with this Lions team right now? Again, I like Driscoll, but small sample size. I don't think we can trust this one either. Again, we're just going over some of the games. There's not many NFL games. We like to go over some of them, just give you some good pointers, whether to stay on it, stay off of it. Next up, Dallas at New England. This is one we really like. Dallas, 6-4. SU have a very daunting task taking on New England at New England. Patriots are 9-1. SU in Foxborough in the middle of November. They're a very scary team in November. This will be the coldest game the Cowboys have played all season. It'll also be the best defense they've had faced thus far. Obviously, a coaching mismatch. Belichick, Garrett. Belichick tore it up last week and covered, coming off a bye, coming off a loss and playing with revenge. Now they're at home, where they're 20-0 SU and 16-4 ATS. They're 16-1 SU and 14-2-1 ATS when laying 7 or less at home. Finally, they've won 85% of their home games since 2001 and covered 62% of them. You can make money just betting the Patriots over the last 10 years. With that being said, though, the Cowboys are probably the second best team New England has faced this season. And they lost outright to the best team that they faced. And almost lost to the Bills. Patriots should get a key member of their O-line back while returning back for the first time in 4 weeks. Vegas always loves the Patriots in this spot, considering that Pats just whooped the Eagles by 7. Not really whooped, but it's clear to Vegas that sees Dallas and Philly as equal. Are they equal? I don't know. Equal or not, the Patriots' offense looked shitty on the road. Maybe a good bounce back. I'm sure they're going to be motivated to fix that. But can they fix that? Dallas, on the other hand, looked amazing on offense. I mean, Dak's not going to be able to toss the ball around like he did in Week 11. But they appeared they have everything necessary to cover. Like maybe a man named Zeke. I think it's a close game. New England 25-23. Take Dallas plus the 6 points. 6.5. We'll take that half too. Could move up. Vegas loves him. Public probably loves him in this position at home. I'd love to have a touchdown on that game. Love to have a touchdown. Next up, before we get good old Ricky on here. And Ricky, again, he's picking an NFL for us. He's going to pick an... I'm sorry, not Ricky. Ricky's actually under the weather this week. He's not going to make the show today, but Locksmith Larry is going to come on and give an NFL pick. But next up on the slate, Pittsburgh at Bengals. Bengals getting 6.5. Over-under sitting at 38.5. We are leaning, and not just leaning, we're going all in with the under on this one. Under between the last, has gone 3-0, the last 3 between these guys. They always play some hard-nosed football, even if they have the weapons like they used to in the years past, but they don't this year. Both teams are 3-7 to be over-under this year. Bengals hit over 20 points just 2 times this year. Only put up 3 points against Pittsburgh, so I think Pittsburgh's got their number. You know, Connor and Juju are out. Pouncey suspended. One of the best centers in the league. I know these guys aren't looked at that much, but this is always a troublesome spot for quarterbacks when they lose their center. And the Bengals are just bad. There should be no match for this Pittsburgh defense and T.J. Watt. You know, Rudolph has not looked this part in number 31 in QB rating, but that plays into everything we're saying. Last week threw 4 interceptions, so we'll probably get better at that. On the other side of the ball, the QB play is even worse. Ryan Finley's averaged 3.7 yards per pass last week. take the under. It's going to be moving, so grab it. I think it started at 39. We did buy it at 39, and I'm sorry, but we'll still take it at 38, 38 and a half. Let's see if we can get Ricky on the. I keep saying Ricky. Let's get Locksmith Larry on the line here. Let's see if we can. Yeah, let's see if we can get the man, the myth, the legend, Locksmith Larry, our SEC extraordinaire. But picking a NFL game today, I believe. Yeah, let's lock it up.
The boy said, my name's Johnny, and it might
Larry,
be a sin, but
you
I'll
in?
take your bet you're going to regret, because I'm the best as
Yeah,
ever
man,
been.
I'm here.
Johnny, you're all
Good
set
deal.
up.
How you doing today? I'm good, man. I'm good. It's Friday, man. Yes, it certainly is. We've been giving out our picks. I hope you've been listening to the show. See if you like any. So I hear you're going to the NFL this week. Yeah, man, I'm going to the NFL. Yeah, all them SEC got them damn cupcake games. I can't go that route, man. I can't bet against my dogs again. They got a tough game coming up. I don't want to jinx them or nothing. So, yeah, your dogs do have another tough game, and I know they're on the borderline of whether they're going to be in or not. So are you that type of fan? You're very superstitious? Fuck yeah, man. Everything has to be perfectly placed and in order and everything before the game starts. Yeah, I mean, man, I won't even have sex with my wife within 24 hours of the game time. What? Yeah, man, we lose, man. We lose. Wow. Well, how's your wife feel about that? I mean, is she okay with that? Yeah, man, she's good with it. She's a dog fan too, and it's okay as long as we're doing it doggy style, and we don't look each other in the eye or nothing. It's okay then. Wow. Okay. I appreciate that picture you gave me and that information. But who are you taking this week? Yeah, man, I'm going with Mr. John Gruden, man. And them boys going into Yankee Town. Okay, well, yeah, they are. So Jets, Raiders. Raiders sitting at 3.5 right now. Yeah, I don't think Ricky, he's not on the show today, but is that who you're trying to kind of push the buttons on? I'm sorry, I didn't tell you he's not going to be on the show today. But I don't think he'd appreciate that. Yeah, fuck that guy, man. Yeah, all right. Well, you heard that, Ricky. I hope you're listening to the show and you got some shit for him next week. We'll see. So why Oakland? Yeah, I mean, these guys are playing tough. They're playing hot right now. And New York is not, man. I shouldn't say New York, but, New Jersey, whoever the hell they are, up there in Yanktown. I don't know, man. They ain't playing too good. I know they won a couple games, man. They ain't shit. Gruden's going to come here, good game plan, man. He's going to be ready to roll. Yeah, they are going to be playing it's going to feel like the morning for them, coming out from L.A. But, yeah, I do agree with you. I think they're playing pretty good. Yeah, I do. We have a lean on Oakland for sure. Sorry, we got cut off there for a second there, Locksmith. You back in? Yeah, man, I was just about to say, I didn't know if you knew this, but Gruden, he has a dog named Larry, man. That's another reason I like this game. I know you have your different angles that you like. So he's got a dog. Does it happen to be a bulldog too? No, I don't know, man. His name's Larry though, man. It's a good, solid name, man. So yeah, that's my bet, man. I like it. They're gonna get it done. Johnny's gonna have these boys prepared. They're playing better. I like that car guy, man. They gonna get it done up there, man. Don't worry about it. Yeah, and I do like this. And a trip, to me, I don't think really matters. Gruden does have this team playing good. And the Jets D, they've had, 6 sacks over the last 3 games against shitty teams. In fact, I think Carr should have a great game. Over the last 3 games, the Jets have faced Fitzpatrick, Haskins, Daniel Jones. They've combined for 9 TDs. Raiders -3. I like it. I like it. Yeah, man. Well, Locksmith, it's always fun having you on. Always interesting. I appreciate your picks, and
The boy said, my name's Johnny, and
You
it
take
might
care.
be a sin, but I'll take your
Yeah,
bet.
man,
You're
go
gonna regret,
Dogs.
'cause I'm the best as ever been. Johnny, you're all
there you have it. There's Locksmith Larry going with the NFL. Likes him some John Gruden. I'm okay with that. I do think, Jets have played a couple good games, but again, against two, and they're D. They got a mess of injuries. They got problems all over. Darnold is playing better, but I think this Oakland team is trending up, man. They're playing a lot better. He's going to be pumped to go in there. Gruden loves going to the cold. He's going to have this team fired up. That's what he does best. So that's it. Do we have any more picks on the line? I think that's it for our NFL. Again, we're going to post all of our picks on capperscave.com. Okay, we're not going to give you the analysis and reasons why we picked it. You have to listen to the show. But again, we still post them there, and if you're confident in what we do, then go ahead and place them. And also, we're going to be doing our nightly glitter picks as we're slowly getting into the NBA and all other games. We're still doing our research on them every night. So please follow us at Cappers Cave at Cave Cappers. Cappers Cave at Cave Cappers to get our glitter on Twitter picks. Usually we do one a night. And they're, again, our shiniest picks. They might be one tonight. Was it Friday? Yeah, there could be some. We'll find something for you. But again, please follow us. Listen to the show. Find us on capperscave.com. I'm your host, Lorenzo De Costa, and I'm out as well.